Well, today we're going to talk about what we had to do to finish this downdraft off. It's not completely done, obviously, but pretty close. So we have it mounted in here. We talked about last time about mounting this and then the cabinet here. So what we've done since last time is we've got an electrical outlet for the range installed now that we know where the downdraft's at. We talked about the gas pipe before. We vented into the basement, so this is a little adapter that you can buy, and it's kind of a slick because it goes from a rectangle to an 8-inch pipe, but here you see that it's flush down, so the 8-inch pipe is actually underneath here, and what we had to do is cut a hole here. It was not a very nice hole, but it'll be hidden anyway behind the range. But to get this piece on here, we couldn't really fit it at an angle down through there unless we cut a larger hole, and I really didn't want a larger hole in there. So we just lifted this thing up and then set the little vent piece down through the floor. And I didn't have to cut away much of the cabinet on the back side, which was nice because it kind of angles down. And since we're up on top of this platform, I just had to cut a very small piece off the back of this cabinet so the cabinet can sit on here properly. And inside the cabinet here, we've got a 120 volt outlet. And this is the control box for the down vent, and depending upon how you mount the fan for the down vent determines kind of what you do with this box. Now, since on the other side over there we want the range to push up against the down vent, if you were doing just a cooktop you could mount this on the other side, but since we've got a range pushing in, I needed to mount remotely. And then there's also a cable from this side of the control box that goes into the basement. And what we're going to do next is we'll go downstairs and we'll show how the rest of the ventilation system connects up. But this is completely attached. There'll be a couple of nice doors on here and some shelving in here, so we'll have a little bit of use out of this cabinet. It'll be part of the island system. And then what we did additionally is in the island, we're going to stick some pop-up electrical outlets on top of the island. So I have a wiring here coming up, and we're sharing the circuit breaker for the down vent with these island outlets. The down vent takes about 3 amps. It's a 15 amp or 20 amp circuit, so we can definitely run a couple of more outlets on that same island. And we've got a drawer microwave that goes in here, so it's got a separate circuit just for the microwave oven, because that's a 15 amp circuit, 15 amps for the microwave and a 20 amp breaker, so we don't want any additional things on that. And then of course a 220 volt 40 amp, it's a 30 amp outlet. It's a 40 amp breaker. So that's what the range needed, is 240 volts. And here is the other wire for the other pop-up electrical outlet that'll go in the top of the countertop here. So that's essentially it. We can kind of demonstrate the telescoping of the down vent. I have the breaker turned on right now, and this button would normally go right here. Once the countertop's in place, we'll mount that. But basically, you push this button and the down vent telescopes up. We're leaving the film on here until we're ready. There actually is some ventilation through here with a filter, but then also there's airflow can come in the top here as well. So when you got a pan on the stove, it'll both, draw in through here and draw through the top. There's on this down vent. Brand is called Best, and Pam chose this because it's got a lot of nice features, particularly the light, and it's got a multi speed fan in it, and it goes all the way up to 500 cubic feet per minute fan. So this would be the lowest setting, and it's not real loud, as you can tell. That's one of the other benefits of this, of having the fan in the subfloor, is you don't get a lot of that noise. You just have the air up here. And it's got 4 speeds. When you get up to the highest setting, it will, have a little bit of noise in the area. There's a timer button down here that you can set with, basically when you're done cooking. If you push this timer button, it'll turn off after like 10 minutes. And then there's a filter reminder here. And you shut that off and shut the light off. And the light's got a couple of things, and then you just press the down button here and it retracts away. So the gas range will set in here, and then you'll have basically that downdraft behind it. And that's the way we chose to go in the kitchen. So now we're in the basement, and we want to show you kind of the ventilation of the downdraft. Up here you see there's a square box. That's where the fan is at, and then the wire for that box is in the utility room, and it goes up to the floor into that cabinet upstairs. Now, right now I've got that box sitting on top of a couple of braces. There are some metal hangers for the box, which we'll install and tie that to the floor up above, and then remove those braces. One of the difficulties we foresee in this system is access to that fan, and if you ever have to clean it or repair it, it's going to be difficult. So we want to remove this structure in here, so at least, and then we'll make an access port here so you can get up in and service that fan. But you might be able to remove one of the covers off the back and get in there, but really it's more likely we would have to pull that whole unit out to clean it, which won't be ideal, but can be done. What we'll have to do over on this side over here is, you can see where the 8-inch pipe attaches to the front of the fan unit there. That whole cover plate with the ductwork will come loose, and basically you could pull the screws out of that cover plate, and then you could slide the unit back perhaps, or you may have to slide this ductwork out of the way, and then you can get in there to service it. But either way, it's not a perfect system, but there's not a real good way to deal with this. If you wanted to finish your basement off, which we do, it makes it a little more difficult. One of the other things about this unit is we wanted to put a little bit of slope into the pipe, so it slopes a couple of inches here over a span of about 8 feet, about a 1/4 inch per foot drop. So if there's condensation, grease probably isn't going to run very well, but at least if there's condensation from steam, it should run out the pipe and to the outside. I did have to put a couple of 90-degree, well, they're not 90 degree, but a couple of elbows in here that are adjustable, so we could adjust to the outside range hood. And that was a little bit challenging because of the way the deck system is on the outside and the height of the wall. There was just enough room, that hood on the outside, and so we couldn't really send the pipe straight out kind of like we would have liked to. It had to take a turn down and fit where it fit. So we could show you the outside as well. It's getting a little dark today, so I might have to do that on another day. to show you kind of the completion of that.